I thought it might be interesting to give an update on the finish mower, the grooming mower that I have been using now at least this full season. We got it at the end of last mowing season. So I've put some hours on it. I think the tractor has about 85 hours on it. Most of that is mowing. I've got 5 acres here that's mostly grass right now. And this is the mower that I've been using with it. So let me tell you something about it. This is the Frontier GM4072E. It's a 72 inch, so a full 6 feet of mowing, and it sits off the back 5 or 6 feet also. I bought this at the same time I got the tractor, as well as a couple other attachments. This one runs on the PTO on the back of the tractor here and does a pretty good job. We needed a mowing solution because of all the grass we have here. Just trying to keep it beat down to keep ticks and bugs down, and for when we eventually do build out here. So let me tell you a few of the things I like about this. This is a huge mower. So when you have big wide open areas, it makes really fast work of it. Taking a 6 foot pass really takes a bite out of these pastures. This upper hill that we have, we figure is about 3 acres. And I can mow it and the lower section, which is about 2 acres, total of 5 acres, in right at 3 hours. That's pretty fast. So this one has 3 blades on it. I'm not sure what size they are, maybe 19 or 20 inch blades underneath there. I sharpened them at the beginning of this past mowing season, and it's just about time to do it again. I'm seeing that it's not cutting quite as good, but I've cut quite a bit this summer just on that one sharpening. It's pretty easy to get to. If I raise the PTO or the back hitch all the way up, I can just kind of lay under there on a blanket and take the blades off, sharpen them, put them right back on. Not that difficult. Some other features of this mower are the 4 swiveling wheels. Those do a pretty good job to go forward or reverse. You do want to make sure to keep them greased. They each have a grease point, so I've done that multiple times. But they do a good job of not digging in. They unless you have really uneven ground, it seems like you're not going to dig in. Obviously if you have a big dip and you're taking this thing's 6 feet wide, the housing can want to kind of dig into the hill. So you have to watch how you take that. But those wheels do a pretty good job. To adjust the height of the deck, what you do is use these different spacers that come with the mower. You just pull this cotter pin off and change the number of spacers that are either below it or above it to set the height of your deck. It's pretty easy. It didn't take me very long to figure out. This was kind of the setting that worked well for us, as long as you're keeping it pretty mowed. Again, this is a grooming mower. It's a finish mower, so this is not a bush hog. You can't let the grass, the weeds get up to where it's a foot tall. It's just not going to do very well because it's not meant for that. But this is a pretty easy system to just take this off, adjust your wheel, put the spacers back on, and make sure they're all lubed up nicely with some grease, and put the pins back on, make sure they're all set to the same height, and you'll get a nice mow. Now I want to tell a few things that I'm not crazy about with this mower so far after having used it for about a year. Like I said, it cuts pretty well, does a decent job. If you are turning and you are going basically the same speed that you're trying to go in a straight line, it can't cut as well. For whatever reason, it leaves kind of a gap with how these swing out, being attached to the rear. As it swings out, it goes even faster, and if you're not careful and slow down, you'll have streaks of grass that don't get cut in those turns. So I've just learned to slow way down as I'm making that turn. It does a pretty good job. Other things I don't love are just a little bit of the fit and finish. So I've only mowed grass. This thing has not been absolutely beat up, but it's got paint coming off here, all along the edges, it seems like. Well, that will eventually start rusting. I'll have to touch it up. I guess that's to be expected. Anything that gets used outside and, has dirt and grass and stuff all over it, as you can see, I use it. But that's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of a little thing to me. Something else I really don't like are these knobs that come here on the housing to keep those attached so you can get to the belts and different things. They don't want to stay attached. I've had multiple ones vibrate off. I've found some of them. One of them I didn't find. I had to order a new one. And as you can see, I don't have the housing on either of these two sides, so let me tell you about that. These are the guards on the housing that cover the belt sections like this to protect the belt and the pulleys. These are the parts that the knobs vibrate off very easily, and you either end up losing it in the field if you don't constantly check it, or I don't know, I've been operating it without them on there because one of them I already had to replace, and then the knob that the John Deere place gave me was not even the right thread, so it popped off again. And then I looked back another time that I was mowing and this whole thing was rattling. So I thought, oh, it just needs to be tightened down. Well, what ended up happening was the entire weld broke off. It just broke off on the housing. So there's nothing that this knob is even doing to hold this in here. So that's a gripe of mine. With very light use, not even one season, this has already broken and I've lost multiples of these knobs. So it's just not a great design for that type of thing. As I was editing this video, I realized I left something out. This mower is noisy. It's quite loud. I wanted to definitely point that out. Any mower is noisy once you engage the blades, but this one's got like a hum or a rattle to it. I don't know if it's those knobs that aren't quite tight that I was telling you about or whatever, but it's pretty loud when you're running it. I definitely recommend using some earbuds or hearing protection of some sort, but I wanted to hop in here and tell you that in my opinion, this one's quite loud. So would I buy this again if I had to do it over? Yeah, I probably would, especially in the situation that we were in. I didn't want to spend $10,000 or $15,000 on a nice commercial zero turn. I think this thing was about $4,000 new, which sounds like a lot of money because it is. But you know, compared to a $10,000 or $15,000 mower that would be this size, that would get probably a comparable, you know, cut, I was willing to go this route for the time being. I do still want to upgrade to a big commercial zero turn. I'll probably find one used. I think it will actually mow this faster if I can get a 60-inch even, not quite the 72, but go with a 60-inch. It's more nimble, it's faster. Usually you have a better suspension ride. Out here in an open field, the tractor can kind of beat you to death. And this thing does a pretty good job of mowing almost wide open. It depends on how sharp your blades are and if the you know, how deep the grass is, that kind of thing. But you kind of just have to watch your RPMs. It's got an ideal setting of what it wants for, you know, keeping that PTO going. If you're going too fast or going up a hill while you're really bogged down, it's just like any tractor or any mower, you need to let off a little bit so those blades don't have to work so hard, or it's not putting so much strain on the engine. But I think I would buy it again if I had it to do over. Some of these little details need to be addressed. I'm going to go to my local John Deere place and just talk to them about it because it's been frustrating. But as far as overall mowing, yeah, I think it's done a good job. Hey, thanks for checking this video out. I appreciate it. Just wanted to give you a quick update on some of the equipment I'm using. Maybe it helps you out in making a decision if you're going to buy something similar. Let me know if you have other ideas on different videos we could make. Get subscribed to the channel if you're not already. We've got a bunch more videos coming out, and I'll see you on the next one.